Niccolo di Bernardo de Machiavelli was a prolific Florentine writer who is often regarded as the father of political science and political philosophy. While The Prince is certainly the most famous of his works, he wrote many treatises and contributed greatly to Florence during the Renaissance. Though often regarded as a controversial figure after his death and into the modern era, Machiavelli was simply writing about the realities of his time, as many cruelties, as he phrased it, were taking place throughout the Italian peninsula during his life. Throughout history, many people have tried to codify or write down instructions on how to govern, how to wage war, or generally how to rule the societies they lived in. Thomas Hobbes, Sun Tzu, even Karl Marx, these authors were inspired to write by looking out their window and seeing what their societies were accomplishing or suffering from, and then writing down ways they thought they could improve it. One of the works that always gets the most praise and notoriety is Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince. Originally published in 1532, 5 years after Machiavelli's death, it was written for Lorenzo de' Medici as a way to regain political favor and in order to help the young prince's rise to power over the city of Florence. Now, unlike Lorenzo, who died way too early and was unable to benefit from the instructions left in the treatise, I plan on playing Florence today as if I had read The Prince, which I have multiple times for class, but that's besides the point, and was actually written and published during this game's timeline, so I can get away with this. This will also allow me to experiment with how to play as a tall nation, as most of my games so far have been very wide nations. Think India, think colonial Yemen, right? So I want to be able to learn how to play tall. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. So let's start with some ground rules. We're going to try to make decisions that I believe Machiavelli would make based on his writings in The Prince. I won't show it every time I make a decision, but for big decisions or the first time, I'll usually make a point of showing it. Another rule we have is that we have to remain within the geopolitical boundaries of the Duchy of Tuscany. This isn't a world conquest run, it's a run where we need to form a proper principality. We should also consult the prince, where relevant, in order to influence our decisions on policy and nation building. This also will include how we approach diplomacy. For example, Machiavelli was very pro-Italy and very anti-foreign interference in Italy, so we'll see how that affects our opinion. I'm also going to forbid vassals in this run, as that would defeat the purpose of limiting my territorial ambitions, but aside from that, most of the game's mechanics are fair game. Alright, first and foremost, let's discuss our goals for his campaign. Our first goal will be to survive as Florence during the 14th to 16th centuries, until June 1527. This was when Machiavelli died historically, and I think would provide a nice endpoint to our campaign. It also adds a nice little time challenge to our run, so that way we're not just lollygagging around and we actually work towards our other goals. Those goals being, our immediate goal will to be reformed from a republic into a principality or duchy, with the Medicis or some equivalently influential family in charge. I don't know if the Medicis are going to survive in my game, but I want to make sure that we at least have a family in charge as a monarchy, not as a republic. And this is just because of the preamble in The Prince, where Machiavelli specifies that he covers republics in another one of his books. This one is all about monarchy. Our next goal will then be to form the Duchy of Tuscany, and become a central player in the Italian peninsula and her politics. I plan on using this game to really practice building up a tall nation and learning how to manually trade and other economies of scale that I haven't had a chance to learn playing so wide in India or Yemen. So I won't be expanding past these initial borders. Lastly, we have an optional goal, but since historically the Medicis were a very pro-Guelph faction, I'm going to be doing my best to help the Guelphs beat the Ghibellines in the Guelphs vs Ghibellines situation, and we'll be trying our best to remove the HRE from Italy. Alrighty, so we're starting our Republic of Florence game. As I said in the intro there, we are planning on playing this game as closely to the Prince's principles, try saying that 10 times fast, as closely as we can. So, let's begin, shall we? So I think for our opening moves, what I want to do is balance the budget, because 1.1 has been rather aggressive with its budgeting, I've noticed, especially in the food department. Food, you really have to watch out for. So we'll balance our taxes. I say balance, we're gonna automate our taxes, automate our trade because I'm lazy. I'll do the manual trade later. I do want to actually try out manual trade this game, but I think for the early game, we can just play on automated and we can try to work on stuff as we go along. Now, that being said, we can only play with the Tuscany area, which is about from up here in the northwest to down here in the southeast. It actually doesn't give us a lot of room to play with, but what do we have in terms of RGOs? Because I think we have quite a few good ones. We have a lot of cotton, which is nice. We have wool, marble, wine, silk. Ooh, tons of silk. wheat. Okay, so we do have food. Livestock. So honestly, I think we're going to specialize in fine cloth, especially with that silk and wheat, and then we can get some dye makers up as well, because we have alum. So it seems to me like we're going to be really hyper-focusing into a cloth specialization here, and then that's going to be the majority of our trade, I think. But we'll worry about that later. For now, I want to make sure that we are properly in control of Tuscany. So what do we need to form Tuscany? That's one of our first goals. Forming Tuscany requires that we have... what? Also, do we lose some of our bonuses from... That's a lot less bonuses than we have as Florence. I wonder if they carry over, though. Anyway, Tuscany, we need 18 provinces. We have 5 right now, so we don't need to own all of the Tuscany area, at least, which is nice. And then after that, we are going to do our best to do politics, get Italy out of the HRE, ally Milan, ally Venice, if they take it down Verona, which they should, ally Naples, and the papacy. Because that way we can form Lorenzo's Treaty of Lodi, the Peace of Italy, and try and get the Italic League going, but we'll see how that goes. Let's have you changing us towards aristocracy as soon as possible. Let's have you... actually, let's have you doing diplomatic endeavors. Again, we want to reduce aggressive expansion, or sorry, I think it's called antagonism in this game. I've played so much EU4, I'm just going to call it AE. You know what I mean. You know it means antagonism. Alright, you'll improve our diplomatic relations, and then we probably want to just invest in stabilizing the country. We actually have pretty high Republican tradition right now, so I'm not worried about that. Let's just stabilize the country with you then. Alright, that's not bad. And we start off with Arezzo unintegrated. So instead of stabilizing the country, you're going to integrate. I just didn't see that. There we go. Alright, organized religion, classic scholasticism. Scholasticism. Jesus. What am I saying? Right. Ooh, fine cloth. Oh, arte de lana. Or arte della lana. Fine. Okay, yeah, so if we get boost to fine cloth, I'm gonna make fine cloth in Tuscany. Alright, I think that means we're ready to unpause. Speed 5. We can speed 7 this. I don't think there's gonna be anything important in the early years. How are our road system looking, actually? Oh, we have great road systems, especially if we want to go towards Siena, which we do. We're immediately gonna start improving with the papacy and with Milan, I think. Those are gonna be our first 2 allies. And we'll go from there. Alright, new markets, that's the usual. Okay, Republic of... That was very loud, my god. Thank you. Okay, maybe not speed 7 then. The Valour Republic of Volterra has declared us the rival, Pisa, and Imola. Bologna. Okay, no one that we care about. And Upper Bavaria is... They can demand Arezzo right off the bat now? That's crazy. Now, I think this is a good time to consult one of Machiavelli's chapters of The Prince. Okay, so my basis for whether or not I should respect the HRE Emperor boils down to 2 things. I know that in our timeline, the Medicis, and therefore Florence, was very pro-papacy over the Emperor. Though, interestingly enough, this would actually conflict with Machiavelli's personal beliefs. He viewed the papacy as a political entity instead of a religious one, and that the state would be far better served by spiritually following a civil religion, almost akin to one doing what's best for the state over themselves. He also disliked the papacy for its role in preventing Italian unification, yet did prefer the Guelphs over the Ghibellines, as while the Pope was an enemy, he at least was based in Italy, compared to the HRE Emperor, who was a foreign barbarian in his eyes. Okay, now that we've talked about what Machiavelli would do in this situation, we're actually going to decline this demand for unlawful territory, because we do not acknowledge the authority of the Holy Roman Emperor anymore. We firmly belong in the Guelph camp, which will activate soon. Alright, let's continue. So, we've built up a Spinner's Guild, which is always nice. And alongside that, I think... How much military do we have? Alright, yeah, we're just going to prep and do our best to fight where we can while waiting for the Guelph situation to arise. The Guelphs and the Ghibellines have been fighting for dominance over Italy for centuries. Ever since the investiture controversy pitted the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor against each other. The Guelphs support the papal authority over the peninsula, while Ghibellines are considered imperial loyalists, holding their allegiance true to the Holy Roman Empire. But matters have spiraled well beyond their initial positions, and both sides now represent a diversity of interests. The different countries are no stranger to switching sides when doing so might benefit them, however. Interesting times are ahead. Alright, so now we get the factionalism, so we can see who's in what faction. So as you can see, our rival Pisa and our rival Volterra and Lucca, who's going to be a future rival, are all in the Imperialist faction, whereas we are in the Papacy faction. Like I said, I do want to get that alliance with the Papal States, and... actually, you know what? Yeah, let's get an alliance with the Papal States. And I was going to go for Milan initially, but I think we're going to go for Naples, actually, because they're already in our faction. So let's just wait for another little amount there that we can do. And Ascoli joined us. Nice. All right, Guelphs and the Ghibellines. Obviously, we sided with the Pope. There's no two ifs about it. The Medicis were famously very pro-Pope. There's the 100 Years' War. That's not relevant to us. We can ignore them. Well, I say it's not relevant. It won't be relevant until France starts pushing into Italy, which, thanks to control mechanics, I don't think they will. Because AI tends to favor areas that they have proximity on, not necessarily areas they historically went into. All right, now this is the important one. The arrogant moves of the Della Scala dynasty on the chessboard of Italy have alienated every other player participating, prompting opponents to start scheming. Their recent actions have only made matters worse, leading to the formation of a coalition against them involving many prominent dynasties and states in the north of the region. The Republic of Florence is but one of the states aiming to defeat this rising hegemon. Alongside several other major players, we have been trying to contain the expansion of the dynasty, but to little result so far. Though the hostilities may have ceased for the time being, we cannot fret from continuing the fight. Now, this would get us an early alliance with Milan, I do believe, because they'll be in the war with us, and that gives you a boost to alliances. The other thing I'm concerned about here, though, is how would Machiavelli deal with this? Let's talk about that. In his work, The History of Florence, Machiavelli depicts Della Scala as one of the powerful houses in Italy, and uses them as an example for how more and more Italian city-states were transforming from cities with republican values to lordships or tyranny, as he described them. In certain works of his, Machiavelli shows admiration for men such as these, such as his opinions on Cesare Borgia, whom he is believed to have based a prince on, and at other times he states that tyranny and cruelties must be avoided where possible, but done when necessary. Alrighty, now that we've discussed what Machiavelli would do once again, let's get back into the game, shall we? We will contain them. We gain a cut down the size in Casus Belli on Verona. We gain the Anti-Scaligeri League for 3 years. We lose 100 opinion, obviously. We gain our 10 arbitration. Should we accept, we will join the upcoming war within the next year. And Verona gains antagonism and loses opinion of us. We will contain them. Alright, in that case, we should prepare for war soon. We have an okay economy. We don't really have much of an army, but I don't think we'll need one, that's fine. Usually the Della Scala League goes very poorly for the Veronese. I'm not too worried about this upcoming war. I would rather spend my money on improving the home front and preparing for the war with Pisa. Alright, here we go. Who are we with? Oh, you don't say! Lucca joined! Well, you know, maybe this war is worth my time then. Let's raise levies, and we are going to do our best to take Lucca. Because if we can, what I would like to do is get enough war score from sieging down Lucca that we can take them and just piece out of the war separately. Because we can just negotiate with Verona for that. And that would be quite a nice little possession to add to our holdings. Now, the Emperor won't like us for this, but the Emperor's opinion does not mean much to me, as I've already discussed earlier. Ah, Silvestro Chiarissimo de Medici. I'm not Italian. Alright, we get Glory Seeker, very nice. Can't complain about that. And now we sit here until this siege is done. For years, the Palazzo della Signoria has stood tall, proudly presenting our best qualities and attention to detail as the emblem of our country. Recently, it's come to our attention that several minor architects from the burghers have expressed their willingness to design a new clock tower for our palace. While the cost of the project is certainly not cheap, it would greatly expand our prestige and credibility as the true authority in Florence. Funding the clock tower, that's only 14 gold. Oh yeah, we can afford that, no problem. Look at that. Prosperity, 5%, that's huge. Helping the commoners? Absolutely not. Get that out of here. No, we're definitely doing the clock tower. Alright, our fort maintenance is back up, hence why we're losing money. No worries there. Do we have any food RGOs, actually? We're still waiting for the siege to be done, but I have noticed that we don't have a lot of food. Can we eat horses? We are Italian. Really? We can't eat horses? That's crazy. Alrighty, with our siege of Lucca done, and our forces sitting on the Veronese capital of Verona, surprisingly enough, I do believe our part in this war has concluded. We've wiped the armies from the map, so our AI will still be able to dismantle Verona as needed, but for us, I think we're okay. We'll take all of Lucca as is our right, to make people a little bit upset with us, primarily Lucca, and the others we can just improve with over time. In the meantime, I also want to take as much money as we can. 93 gold will help our economy quite a bit, and war reps would actually be nice as well. We are just negotiating for ourselves, so this is a separate piece, do not mind that. But let's go, shall we? We're going to immediately invest that money into building up Florence's cloth district. That's what I was looking for. Forgot the word for cloth for a second. Let's get 2 built up in the cloth district there, and we'll continue on our merry way. Actually, before I forget, let's actually take a look over our estates, because I forgot to hand out estate privileges. The main things we want to look for are stuff that increase aristocracy and centralization. I want to play a very aristocratic, I want to play a very centralized nation. Now, what does that mean we have? Okay, we have land rights already, which is good, because I was going to grab that if we didn't. We have clergy, we have all of that, that's fine. Give them embellished great works of faith for the centralization. Our burghers, they have plutocracy, which we would probably want to revoke when we can. But we don't have the stability quite yet. They have building rights, which we'll actually probably keep. I know it's +5 plutocracy, but building cost is always nice to have, especially when we're playing with such a tall empire here that's urbanized. Individualism, I don't care about capital economy, I will want to push eventually. And Florence guilds, we'll probably keep that just because bank interest and monthly inflation is pretty nice. Other than that, we have common militias, that's fine. Partial yield, that's fine. All that's fine, okay. So let's hand out a few to you guys. Any that progress aristocracy. Elite council is nice. And because again, do keep in mind, one of our main goals is to become a monarchy. We do not want to stay as a Signoria for long. We want to become a duchy eventually. All right, and then aside from that, we have maritime law, which obviously we will. Actually, I'm going to do shipwright standards here to progress the capital economy. I don't really need trade range at the moment. I don't really need naval at the moment. Serfdom and all that also doesn't really help, so. We're gonna go capital economy, and then anti-piracy, of course. Alrighty, that looks good as far as estates and laws go. In the meantime, we'll just integrate Lucca into our empire, I think. They have a lot of good cotton, which will really help our cloth sectors, which is nice. That's actually huge for us. Okay, first parliament time. Shall we get in there? Alright, we'll host army exercises, of course. What do we need? Aristocratic. Oh, say no more. I don't mind that. Hand that over. I love having the nobility appeased. Grant privilege, nobility controlled serfdom. It's not great. I don't care that much. Change policy, no censorship policy. We'll worry about that later. For now, let's fabricate a claim on Pisa. We need that wheat province, honestly. Alright. So this should let us take on this wheat province. They're building a settlement there right now. Wow, I didn't realize that had such low pop. Oh yeah, it does. Look at that. It is below 10%. Alright. We'll have to check our areas later. No, okay. I think we're pretty populated. Yeah, it really... Oh, it's these areas, though, that are definitely underpopulated. Oh my god, yeah, look at that. Well, you're not as bad, but you especially. We can build a settlement at some point, I think. Let's attack Pisa. Who do you have for allies? You have Siena, you have Perugia. Okay, so the funny thing here is that this actually work out pretty well for us. Because we could theoretically get almost all of Italy at once. The issue with that is that that will most certainly cause a coalition. So let's look for allies. Oh, I can request a divorce, that's nice. Alright, let's offer our alliance to the Papal States. Now, honestly, before I made a casus belli there, I should have checked. But we essentially only want free provinces from Pisa, so we hope we won't have too much antagonism. We'll have to fight Siena and Perugia later. Now the question is, do you dislike Pisa? Because they are in a different group from us. You do. Huge. Alright. Well, that's an easy war for us then. Let's get started. We don't have a oh, right. Yes. Kinda need those, don't I? While we were waiting for that diplomat, it seems that Giovanni Villani writes the Nuova Cronica. During his travels around Rome, Giovanni Villani realized the vivid and beautiful history associated with the old capital of the region. To that end, he has implored us to sponsor his latest creation, the Nuova Cronica, a comprehensive account of the history of the city and the whole region. The chronicle will surely prove to us to be a valuable insight into the lives of prominent figures, conflicts, and societal changes of the time. Alright, money is never an issue when it comes to history. Make a fine gift for Rome. We cannot afford to sponsor him. We will sponsor him and then just take out some loans, because we're going to make a lot of money off farming these guys for war reps. So I don't mind if we get the money from there. We're also still farming Verona for war reps, keep in mind, so a little bit of debt won't kill us. There we go. And immediately those banks are like vultures taking over the loans. That's crazy. All right, we have our diplomatic little guy now, so let us start. You come in here, proof claims. So we have to keep Sienna's forces away from Peru. We have to pretty much keep their forces split until the papacy gets here. Now, the reason why I'm doing these very aggressive early game wars and using up a lot of my levies is because a peasant in the early game... Oh, I thought I called you in already, but that's fine. A peasant in the early game is worth a lot less than the peasant after the Black Death, so I don't mind using them up now. We have maritime dominance. Oh yeah, we do have a maritime province. I was like, I don't even remember having a maritime province. Completely forgot that we just stole Lucca. Alright, let's attack Sienna's forces and whittle them down immediately so that they cannot join with their allies. Now, Faenza has joined us. Why is that? You vassal the Papal States, that would be why. That would make sense. Alright, let's go take out Pisa's army now. There we go. Ooh. Oh no, we are the defender here, that's good. Because this is a hills province if I never correct. Oh no, it's flatland, never mind. Alright, favoritism. Let's go down to speed 5 for this war. There's no such favoritism, or we can make amends. We'll just say there's no such favoritism. As long as that stays above 50, we're not actually too worried, honestly. And with that, it seems like the papacy has come in, so we don't have to worry about anyone else attacking us. We have the largest army in the war now. Yep, both our armies individually are larger than all their armies combined, so we can just sit down and siege now. So when we take Pisa out of this war... Oh, never mind, we have to occupy it first. I will be curious to see how badly... Oh, you went all the way down here, do you? Okay, so it's 4 provinces, damn. Well, it'll keep Siena contained at least. Chiompi revolt. Okay, this is not great. Alright, the papacy is somehow finding a way to lose against someone who is 1/4 of our size, thank you. Alright, and the banking crisis. Can we chill? The lending policies of the Perusian and Bardi banks in Tuscany resulted in an economic crisis on our hands. The banks have lent vast amounts of gold to individuals who clearly should not have been trusted. When those individuals subsequently defaulted on those loans, the two businesses were faced with the loss of their assets and the loss of face amongst their customers, who are now unable to access their stored wealth. Alright, the Bardi, the Peruzzi, and the Acciatoli families. The end of banking as we know it. Ripples at the economic downturn. Okay, tax efficiency. Monthly inflation. Alright. Every nation that borrowed from one of the... I think we borrowed from them, didn't we? We could save the banks. Or their collapse suits our agendas. 20% towards centralization is kind of huge. It'll receive up to 1,000 ducats in extra funds. Okay, yeah, no. The event our leaders are utterly bankrupt happens to us. Alright, yeah, no. Their collapse suits our agenda. Recent banking crisis has led to the upper bankruptcy of the banks that lent us their assets. In the chaos, the ledgers of the banks got lost, and as such, it seems that those businesses will not be seeking repayment from us. We should borrow more often. It's kind of incredible, honestly. Alright, that's all. I should... Okay, yeah. If I have to do a future run, I'm gonna max out my loans in the future. Okay, we now have finished our war with Pisa, Siena, and Perugia. Time to get in there and see what we can steal. So, but I want to take it so we can unite the Florence region, or actually, sorry, the Arezzo region. It also keeps Perugia from being split. Now, who will this hurt our relations with? Agate Torgu. What? Who? Why the hell are the Mongols gonna care? Why do they have so much AE with me? What? Sungaria? Luristan. Okay. I think we've broken something, because why does Yuan have antagonism with me? Alrighty, I guess then. Alright, we're going to take the last area of Arezzo. We are going to take as much money as we can. We're going to get war reps. We're going to humiliate. There we go. So that is our war in the east done. Now, let's see, what do we want from Pisa? We take all of this from Pisa. I know they're going to be upset. A lot of people are going to be upset. There we go. That makes more sense. So Pisa's going to be the most upset. Volterra, Siena, Prato, Pistoia, Cortona, Parma, and okay, so we can work our way down for most of these people. I just want money and your land. All right, so this will cause a coalition, but I think between improving diplomatic reputation and our diplomatic traditions. Okay, I guess I can't see them right now. Oh, and we immediately got measles because we took that area. That's great. Yeah, all right, so down here with our traditions, I think we can improve relations with whoever we need to. So let's actually, for once, up our Diplo spending. A wild sentence, I know. Our food costs will go down at least because we have the wheat province. Oh, also the collapse of the banks means we can mint a lot more. There we go. Armies have existed since war was invented many thousands of years ago. However, their form has changed over the centuries, and different types of recruitment and organization have developed in different cultures and periods. In the late Middle Ages, armies in many societies relied on levy systems, with knights and footmen forming a corps that was levied seasonally. Some states, however, were powerful enough to finance stand-in armies, staffed by professional soldiers who would be available for duty throughout the year. This system also developed in Europe after the outbreak of the 100 Years' War, being one of the main changes that promoted a military revolution in the early modern age. Increasing the size and quality of professional armies, while finding new sources of revenue to finance them, soon became one of the main challenges for rulers around the world. And that spawned in London. Let's go. We're getting all the institutions spawning right now. Hey, we spawned the Renaissance. Very nice. The wealthiest and most powerful citizens in the Italian city-states have been patronizing artists and scholars who are breathing new life into the classical ideals and the aesthetics of their Greek and Roman forebears. As a cultural movement, the Renaissance has already had a profound impact on the literature, art, philosophy, and music of our region. Renaissance humanism has developed into a fully formed intellectual tradition, ready to permeate all aspects of society. A true Renaissance humanist is an expert in everything from politics and philosophy to art, textual analysis, music, and architecture. New ideals for rulers, as well as those who are ruled, are spreading as quickly as printing presses can distribute copies. Renaissance ideals are now poised to reshape the world according to these sophisticated classical principles. Printing presses. Now, I'm no expert, but we don't have the printing press yet. Moneylending has existed since metal-based coins first appeared in antiquity. However, its availability is heavily dependent on the dominant people, culture, or religion of a given state. A shift occurred in the Middle Ages, encouraged by the renewed growth of long-range commercial activities on the Eurasian continent and its peripheries. Specialized moneylenders began to organize when Jewish communities started operating between the Christian and Muslim worlds. However, the boom of credit demand that followed the Crusades in the 12th century encouraged merchants in the Italian city-states to create larger structures for moneylending, effectively founded the first banking institutions, such as the Peruzzi and the Bardi houses. More instruments were developed, like bills of exchange and debt bonds, and banking dynasties, such as the de' Medici, Fugger, or Welser, soon became as powerful as states. And that spawned in Genoa, so that's actually really close to us. We've already adopted Renaissance, which is nice, so no worries there. We're just building up our economy until we can go to war again, pretty much. An envoy from Naples has just arrived. After our warm welcome, they've informed us of an offer to purchase Prato at a not so substantial of a price. To receive a prospering neighboring republic at a small price tag is an excellent opportunity to expand our influence. Beginning of the 14th century, the city of Prato placed itself under the rule of Robert d'Anjou in order to protect itself from the advancement of the Florentines. However, mere decades later, in 1351, the city would be sold to the Republic of Florence by Robert's successor, Joanna. Well, with Robert dead 7 years ago, we can get that deal done. I do not mind taking out debt to buy an entire town. So Prato is the little city just up here. It's a town in our area, and they're also in a coalition against us, hilariously enough. So we will gladly buy that. That does unfortunately weaken the Guelphs, but we've been doing a pretty good job of taking out primarily Ghibellines, such as Pisa, and then afterwards Cortana and Voltara, and I think Pistoia will be the last ones that we need to take out in our immediate area. And then obviously just Pitigliano and Siena. And then after that we start fighting wars to convert people into Guelphs from Ghibellines. The term of our previous head of state has come to an end. For those of you wondering, our previous ruler just died falling down a flight of stairs, but I forgot to record it. As such, it is time for a renewed electoral process across our realm. The vote is but the crown and jewel on the head of our illustrious republic, as we take great pride in the procedures entailed within our bureaucratic domain, one of which is the appointment of a leader based on meritocracy and procedural transparency. Elect Costanzo Caponi as ruler. He's actually a pretty decent ruler, so I don't mind having him as ruler. News has arrived of an official decree by Pope Clemens VII Abbot, warning rulers and community leaders to avoid fueling hatred against minorities. The Black Death is without doubt an act of God. Anyone who claims otherwise is committing blasphemy and could be excommunicated. Unfortunately, minorities make for great scapegoats and targets for anger when great tragedy strikes. Whether we choose to continue to benefit from this or heed the papal warning is up to us. We agree that it is an act of God. The minorities must be controlling him. Alright, we'll agree that it's an act of God. Does that prevent me from... No, I can still present scapegoats. I'll agree with him, but I'm not going to take away stability improvements. Because we already hit negative 26 by moving our court into Haydn, which I did in order to make sure that the Medici family survives. Same with isolating the country and segregating the infected. I didn't have a chance to build hospitals because the early game, I should have grabbed Pisa first and got the wheat situation set up, but it is what it is, right? Not the worst. We should still be able to destroy most of them. We're slightly stronger than them still. Let's get our Parliament approved Casus Belli, and let's go. Yeah, we're very much stronger than all. That's the wrong page. We're very much stronger than all of them. Nothing to be worried about here. Just a lot of small armies we're gonna have to swat down as time goes on. But that coalition is still active against us, or maybe they just got the alliance last second, I don't know. We'll have to see how things go afterwards, because we might have to improve the relations a lot with people. Having Naples as an ally, at least, will mean that we won't get attacked by anyone too big. 15k is always nice, but... especially, like, immediately after the Black Death. The Black Death really helps us a lot in this case, because everyone's armies are going to be, like, half the size they used to be. So many, we do need the money. Yeah, we just need the money. Papal States already likes me, so I don't have to worry about that at least. Let's take the war goal itself. We'll go take out all those small little guys who don't have any forts, and then we'll just sit on Siena. Because we're only at war of who? Yeah, just the guys you'd expect from, so. Okay, the War of Siena is over. We've managed to win. The issue, of course, being that we have a little bit of a coalition on our hands, so I think if I take all of Siena, it's not going to look great for us. Because that is quite a lot of coalition members, which I would rather not fight. So instead, alright, we're only going to take this one province, and we're going to try and cut off Papal States from any potential Siena, or Sienese thievery on us. And aside from that, we just have to improve relations with Parma, Bologna, and Città di Castello. Ah, that's not great, is it? But still, our conquest of Tuscany is almost done. Let's get war reps, let's get max money. Let's humiliate, of course, and we should be good to go. We're going to take Volterra. Is this going to cause any new coalition members? Siena's, of course, going to be upset. Accioli's going to be upset. Parma and Bologna are going to be the main issues there. We're already improving with Mantua, so we'll improve with Bologna and anyone else on our border there. Then we're gonna kind of just let this aggressive expansion coast, not worry about it too much, I think. Oh, we've managed to get quite a few new little areas, and our borders are looking hella clean now. All right, we are back in order to take Fostinovo from Malaspina. We also managed to get into a war of Sicily. Ignore that. That's the Naples War. All right, let's get into this war. It's not too big of a war, at least. It's just Ferrara, who we can convert from a Ghibelline to a Guelph. We can go from there. Shouldn't be too bad. We also just win in because it seems to be based on the taxes, I would argue. So if we get Ferrara to join us, then that always hurts them, right? All right, let's start this war, shall we? All right, let's go. And I don't think we have to actually take any forts this run. Oh, we might have to take Ferrara. We'll see. So let's go grab our war goal first, and then we're just gonna fight them inside Tuscany. They have to cross mountains to get to us. So I'm not too worried in terms of the fights we're taking. See, there we go. Oh, we got assault ability plus 10%. Nice. Alright, that works for me. We have a lack of food, it seems. That makes sense. Our entire nation has a lack of food, unfortunately. Food is just going to be one of our biggest imports. Alright, come on, Ferrara, give up. That's the Sicilian War I don't care for. Ferrara, can I convince you to join our side at all? Force faction change? I can? Okay. Huge. Well, in that case, we'll just siege down Ferrara and we'll go from there. And I'm going to force probably all of these guys who I can to switch over to Guelphs where we can. Okay, we are at the end of the war. It was a surprisingly easy war, I must admit. Let's see how it goes. So we're going to force faction change on Ferrara. We're going to take all their money. We're going to ask them for war reps. We're going to humiliate as well, I think. But we don't want any of their land. So that is Ferrara out of the game. And now they're in the Guelphs. All right, Ferrara, you're next. I want the force faction change. I want all your money. I want to humiliate you, and I want war reps. Thank you very much. All your money, all your gold, all your war reps. Looks good to me. And you changed over to Guelphs. So if you see that, you'll notice that the Guelphs are going to go up even faster now because of our tax base. We're up to 16%. They're down to 11. So we're very handily going to win this, I think. I actually don't know what win in the situation does, truth be told. Never tried it out before. But hopefully it just removes all of us from the HRE, kind of like the Shadow Kingdom event in EU4, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. Alright, so now it's just you, my friend, Malaspina. I want here. How much is that going to cause? Actually, yeah, no one cares. That's hilarious. Sorry, buddy. Alright, we'll force and humiliate. There we go. Get our little spot. And we have secured the northern border. So all of northern Tuscany is ours now. We just have to worry about 5 more provinces in the south. I can already form Tuscany, but I feel like I'm going to wait until we get the Medicis on the throne before I do that. Our second to last war to unite Tuscany is a go. Fitgliano will be ours. They're only allied with Cecina and Gubbio, who are... Cecina is actually a Ghibelline, so we'll be able to convert them, or force them to change sides, which would be nice. So we shall do that. And then after that, Siena we can just eat whenever our aggressive expansion goes far enough down, I think. There we go. Let's declare war, shall we? Alright, raise all of our levies. Those are naval levies, I don't need those. Raise all of our normal levies. I am currently researching armories now as well, because I kind of forgot that I adopted everything we need for professional troops. So we'll be having those soon as well, and I think we're going to go with Armored Horsemen, just so we can really punch up, because, frankly, all the other men-at-arms are still just worse than Armored Horsemen. It's a little bit cheesy, but we are also severely hampering ourselves by limiting ourselves to just the Tuscany area, instead of going, you know, very far out. So it's not the biggest issue, I don't think. Oh, of course they have a fort. God damn it. I'll be happy with that. Also, we've gone from number 100 power to number 40. That's crazy. Surprised at how fast we're scaling with Florence, but I guess that's just because Italy is highly developed, right? Like, look at that. That's crazy. But it's also nice. We're slowly also just building up a road network all around, trying to hook up all these small little towns into the main one that we started off with. You can see all the green here is our little road network. It's not too bad. All roads eventually lead to Rome. You guys know how it is. Oh, they're building a city over here in Palestrina. I know that the AI really likes to build towns everywhere, which I do believe tends to hamper their economy with the RGOs, but maybe they get enough out of it out of trade, I don't know. Okay, we get that peace deal finally, eh? Took us long enough. So everyone's fully sieged down. We will humiliate, we will pay war reps, we won't take anything sadly, we'll give money, we're good to go. Now you will humiliate, force faction change, war reps, believe it or not, and hit the wrong button. There we go. Get out of here, you. And then finally, you. Just give me that. And your money, please. And that will be what? Ecchioli is the closest one to being coalition against me. And then it's just Siena and then a bunch of these other people. I can probably, you know, just... what's the word? Oh my god, even Delhi is upset with me. That's crazy. I don't know why India is so upset with me. Western Malwa? What the hell is that? What is this antagonism spread? That's insane. Alright. There we have it. So we have secured the borders of Tuscany. All that remains now is the siege of Siena. While we're here, let's develop our own market in Florence, because I'm tired of being split between Naples, Genoa, and Venice. There we go. Always takes a few tries. I'm not sure why, but it just does. Okay, it's finally time to take on Siena. I've been waiting for a while now, of course, but you know what? Ooh, actually, religious diplomats I do want, so we will actually grant that. There we go. Fabricate the Casus Belli on Siena. And we're going to take over all of Siena, therefore unifying Tuscany under our banner. We start off at plus 15%. That's crazy. Ah, that's annoying. All those people have forts. All right, we're just going to play defense for now while we siege down Siena. And then we'll just white peace out the others as time goes after we destroy their armies, pretty much. So let's put you guys there. And we can just patiently wait at the border. There we go. Caught him again. Very easy. And now we wait over at the Arezzo border. We can take this area here. And there we go. I do believe that's a full stack wipe. I will say, it feels easier to get stack wipes in this game than it does in EU4, but also, anyone in the comments know why Austria is Danube Bavarian instead of like Austrian culture? I feel a little silly asking that, but I would not consider Austrians at this time to be considered Bavarians, but maybe there's like some weird historical niche fact about why that is. I'd love to find out though, so if you know, please tell me. Alrighty, we finally beat the War of Siena. All I did was pretty much just, you know, take all money and, there it is. Take all of Siena. There we go. Not too bad. We have the bank, we have Siena itself, and then no one else is going to join a coalition against us. So that is all ours. There we go. We have finally done it. We have unified Tuscany. Aside from that, from Bologna, we just got war reps, max money, and released Imola and Ravenna. And Cesena, which were their vassals. And then from Gubbio, we haven't done much, though I should have released Citta the Castello now that I think about it. Oh well, just one of those things you think about post, right? But we've done it. We have pretty much unified Tuscany. I'm quite happy with this. Alright, while we wait for past Rorsten to develop the Florentine economy into a proper financial juggernaut, let's talk about the history of our dearly beloved city. Originally founded as a Roman garrison in 59 BCE, it was originally named Florentia after the Latin word flore, which means to flourish. The city of Florence has always been a major player in the political landscape of Italy, and by 1337 was a major economic and trade hub, with some of the first proper banks originating from Florentine families. Though it would not truly flourish until the 15th century under the Medici family, it was considered the birthplace of the Renaissance. It was also during this time that the Florentine dialect of Italian became accepted as the standard for the Italian language. And aside from its political importance, the city was also important culturally, with many great artists and writers such as Dante, Petrarch, or today's topic, Machiavelli. Welcome back to Florence in 1430. It's been a little while you guys were learning about the history of the city, and I've taken some liberties to time jump ahead and work on the economy. So our tax base is doing pretty damn good right now. We're making quite a bit of money. We're just reinvesting that straight back into the area. The population is growing, and we've managed to get some laws going, like centralization and aristocracy, with aristocracy going to be maxed out pretty soon. Now, we do have a reason for this. In 1430, the Florence tag gets a chance of an event called the Medici leaders. But anyway, the bank leader of the Bank of Medici, surprisingly enough, the Medici family, will be offered a spot on our throne in order to take over the Republic. And we're going to be using that in order to secure the Medici dynasty on our throne, and then we're going to pop over to a monarchy. We have everything we need except for the aristocracy, which we need to be 95 or greater, which, as you can see there, we're going to be going up to 113, so we'll be okay there. And then I think once we get the Medicis on our throne, we'll then be able to form Tuscany. The leader of Medici, our honorable citizen, Chairman Antonio de' Medici, has presented himself as a capable manager and a skilled politician, whose deep pockets and connections have lent him many allies in the Republic. If nothing is done about him, he will certainly be elected as consul. Cosimo de' Medici was the most influential politician in the Florentine politics of the middle of the 15th century. Pivotal to his influence was his Medici Bank, which had been founded by his father, Giovanni de' Medici, in 1397. Thanks to Cosimo's wealth and shrewd marriages of the Medici family, the banker was able to become the Lord of Florence and to establish the Medici as the Signore of Florence for decades to come. We welcome Chairman Antonio with open arms. He gains 10 across the board, which actually makes him a really good leader. We lose 12 stab, but that's fine. Medici becomes the stank bank of Florence. Then we go from there. Absolutely, we'll do that. I didn't realize we had a union. I didn't realize we were in a union with Medici. That's how. Oh, now okay. I see what happened here. I see what's happening here. Okay. Alrighty. So I think that's now the time where we could go to dynastic Signoria, which I believe we'd have to come down here and change, but we can't change it because we already have one, which is weird. So I believe what we'll do is we'll just immediately reform into a duchy. I think this should be fine. And we'll make this into a proper duchy, as we already have the aristocracy we need, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Alright, let's go. And so because we have Medici in charge, Tuscany's flag changes, which is really cool. Alright, so we have to remove Signoria, sadly. But we now get legal code, which gets us more centralization. And we get levy law, which honestly, I think we kind of want to go towards quality here, as that will give us a little bit of, you know, punching up strength, which we're already going towards quality. I guess we don't need aristocracy anymore, so let's actually start going towards quality, shall we? That'll give us more punching up strength, which is what we need right now. Because quality is army maintenance, sure, but it gives us quite a bit of boosts compared to quantity, which just gives us... Oh, frontage is actually quite nice, as is maintenance. And food consumption. But you know what, that's fine. I want to see what happens if we go full quality, you know? So we're full aristocracy. We're doing pretty good innovative-wise. We'll eventually switch over to humanist if we can. And then quality, we'll switch to defensive instead of offensive, stay on land. We're not really going to be a massive navy. Like, we're going to have a navy, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to be a massive navy. Anyway, Antonio de' Medici is the first Duke of Florence. We only just got him, but we somehow already have the golden age of Antonio de' Medici. Many individuals across the ages have left their mark, be it rulers or generals. Consul Antonio de' Medici has shown great potential to be a remarkable ruler as he continues to rise to prominence in Florence. He has become a renowned patron of the arts and a prominent figure in the city's political landscape. As a member of the powerful de' Medici family, Consul Antonio de' Medici was raised with privilege and received an exceptional education. Immersed in Florence's intellectual and artistic circles, he developed a deep appreciation for literature, philosophy, and the fine arts. His upbringing and education will surely lay the foundation for his future accomplishments as a great patron and influential figure in Renaissance Florence, ushering in a golden era for our culture and arts. Powerful army must be prioritized. Ooh, that's not bad. Plus 20 to quality? Or gains balanced focus. What does that give me? Research progress or stability. We're about to have the Age of Discovery. How old are you? 59. I'd rather have the quality because the research bonus isn't going to be there for that long. Hussite fanatics in Florence. I don't particularly need to help them, do I? Get them out of here. Alrighty. Aside from that, we're still just building up our economy. We're slowly forming a defensive league to represent the Italic League. Bologna was the first member. We're trying to get Aquileia in next so that we can hopefully save them from Austria, but they seem to not want to join due to organization size, which I don't fully understand. Milan is also becoming massive to the point where I had to unravel them because they keep using me to try and attack our smaller little states around us, which I'd rather not do if we don't have to. And Genoa, of course, is rival to me. But Milan is becoming an issue in the north, and Naples is becoming an issue in the south, and the Pope is the only one I trust so far, which is wild to me. And I just realized I can invite settlers to come join us. So let's actually do that. Let's try and repopulate Siena, because it does have quite a bit of depopulation, it seems. With Siena itself being the only people in the province to really have any people. Everywhere else is quite small. So we'll get some migration coming in, we'll see how it goes. Florence, under the Medici family, are a financial great power in Italy. Wool flowing from the city and gold flowing in, not least of all for the Medici Bank. The bank, along with ownership of much of the local industry, means that a Medici ruler exerts immense control over the duchy's economy. Eventually, extensive ownership has led to a point where the distinction between state funds and the personal wealth of the Duke is largely negligible. For example, the Duke has exclusive rights to the state's extraction of salt and minerals, but those funds are expected to directly benefit the state and the city. However, with so much control, what is state money and what is family money? Largely comes down to each Duke. What's in the Medici's interest is in Florence's interest, or the Medici rule for the Florentine people. Let's get the legitimacy here. Save us some cost of court, I think. A new type of warfare began to develop at the end of the 15th century. In the midst of the Italian Wars, the generalization of pikemen in the late Middle Ages as an alternative to men-at-arms, who would successfully face heavy cavalry charges, were accompanied by the development of portable firearms, mainly matchlock arquebuses and muskets. The soldiers now adopt a new formation, in which the pikemen form a square while the arquebusiers fan out to the sides and front and seek cover behind or inside the square in case the formations enter close combat. This new type of formation, called pike and shot, was favored by German Landsknechts and Spanish tercios, and was soon adopted by other armies, reigning supreme on the battlefields of Europe for nearly 2 centuries, until superseded in the early 18th century by line infantry formations armed with new flintlock muskets, mounted bayonets. Oh, and that spawned in Austria, nice. Alright. The discovery of the New World has ushered in a new era, not only for the colonizers and the colonized, but for many nations in the Old World, as colonial expansion has led to widespread availability of resources and innovations, as well as a fuller realization of our vast world. As new animals, crops, precious metals, and diseases spread across the Atlantic Ocean, the first steps have been taken towards a truly global economy. With foreign lands and peoples being mapped and documented, ideas as well as religious and philosophical debate are increasingly being colored by what we have found in overseas societies. Great minds feel the need to question what was once accepted as truth, and from Valladolid to Fetopus, the nature of the world is now up for debate. And that spawned in Valencia, nice. Also, where's Fetopus? Is that India, I assume? I'm not sure, and no printing press. Now, I'm trying to get the printing press to spawn in Lucca, but I'm not seeing it in the list here, and I don't know why, because I have to be greater than 5 paper, has Renaissance, greater than 1,000 burgers, has a university, and greater than 20 innovative. I have 20 innovative. Lucca is making more than 5 paper, it's making 12. It has a university, and it has over 1,000 burgers. So I'm not sure why I'm not being considered on the list for spawn and printing press. Or maybe I'm just misreading that. If you know in the comments, please by all means let me know. I would love to hear as to why it can't appear in Lucca at the moment. So this is the downside of having dynamic history on, because sometimes you get stuff like this. The ability to mass produce the written word could revolutionize the spread of information, and in many ways, society as a whole. Pioneered by talented individuals such as the Venetian printer Aldus Manutius, this new art helped fuel the Renaissance by making the translated classics more widely available. Later, the Reformation benefited greatly from the ability to spread critical publications and translations of the Holy Scriptures. Now that printing has matured as a technique and spread throughout Europe, hundreds of thousands of copies of everything from religious and political pamphlets to scientific treatises to etiquette guides are circulating the continent. With print shops growing ever more commonplace, rulers have found it hard to contain the new technique, as the comparatively easy means of production means censorship can be sidestepped by moving one's business across a border, or even just changing the name on a title page. And Bologna calls upon them to join in the war against Aquileia and Milan. Oh, come on, Milan, I just allied. No. The defensive league's not worth that much. Milan will keep better peace in Italy than Bologna would, so I will have to betray them, sadly. Sorry, Bologna, you're on your own. And I have Milan as an ally again, so I don't really need to worry about this. Between the Papal States and Milan, I think we'll be okay in terms of the split of Italy. And then I'm just going to slowly siphon pops from Milan by asking for settlers every now and then. Okay, so I just looked into it, and I am in fact getting print and press in Europe because I could have spawned the institution. So I was right that we could have done it, I just don't know why it wasn't showing up on the UI. But hey, there we go, 0.5 a month, that's not bad, I'm not upset about that. It also seems like they fixed one of my #1 complaints from the earlier versions of EU5. Finally, I get asked if I want to have the embargo enforced, not forced upon me. Now, I don't think I trade with Morocco, so I will accept this. As I'm trying to actually think if I trade with them at all. I don't think I do, so I'll gladly keep Castile on our side. Let's start improving relations with them as well, because they might be a useful ally in the future. We'll see, of course, though. So I think it's time we started acting like Machiavelli. I see Genoa here, our, harshest rival, has decided to attack the innocent little kingdom of Final. I don't know which one it is, which really is not helping my case here of trying to be a benefactor of... Who the hell are they attacking? Anyway, I can intervene in a war. And I think I do want to intervene against Genoa here. Oh yeah, here it is, right here. We're not going to take any land, of course, because we are restricted to the island of Tuscany. But I think what we'll do is we'll free Corsica if we can. I think that'd be a very good option for us to free Corsica. And then we can add another person to our market. Because our market has grown quite extensively by adding Milan into our network. We are now the richest market in Europe by far. And if we get Corsica in there as well, I'd be quite happy. Yeah, Venice is super weak nowadays with the Venetians gone. Genoa is slowly losing ground to us, and Naples, while decently strong as a market, just doesn't have the same energy that myself, the Papal States, and Milan have. So I think we will intervene against Genoa here, and also, I'm not going to lie, I love playing Tull, but I do kind of need footage for you guys to watch. Playing Tull isn't the most fun footage to watch, so I kind of want to do a war just for content. Let's intervene. Alright, raise our levies. We are going to war. Let's get on speed 5 for this war. Prepare our levies to rise up. Hopefully they'll attack us on the fort. Get into port if you can, please. Thank you, there we go. And we lost some pirates. It's too costly to go chase them down right now. I don't have the, actually I did have the money for it. I just got out of debt, so I thought I didn't have the money anymore. That is quite funny. Alright, so they have quite a few heavies. I need to start building heavies for my own fleets here. Because evidently we're not going to win a navy war. I only have 6 galleys at the moment. But I do have the Guardia Republicana, which is a mass of heavy cavalrymen with a few new men-at-arms. So we should be able to do something at least. Alright, you guys merge into the same army. Balance army with cavalry on the flanks, please. And let's go attack Genoa directly. Because honestly, I do not think they'll be able to withstand us. We do have food in here, which is nice. As much as I'd love to be able to take this fish province just to get more food, I don't think it's going to solve anything. It doesn't seem to be solving anything for them anyway. That's a maxed out fish in Olives province, and they're still negative 200 food? 290 food? That's insane to me how much Genoa eats. Which is actually quite strange, because Genoa is... okay, it's about the same size as Florence itself. It's only 20,000 more people, and we seem to be doing fine on food. But again, we also have a much bigger province, I will say, so that might be part of it. Alright, they're blockading me, unfortunately. But we can already get printing press, because Luca did get it, which is quite nice. Let's see how our little siege of the area goes first, though. Yeah, you can see in here, even though they have, like, almost a full morale tick over me, I have 16% more discipline than them due to our aristocracy and primacy of the nobility. So I don't think they're going to be winning this anytime soon. Even though the fact that we did actually attack them here with even numbers, and they have double terrain bonus from hills and forest. And of course, the fort line is working exactly as intended, with Genoa being caught between 2 of my armies. I split half off the Genoese siege in order to catch them on the mountain forested fort. As you can see, I'm just completely shredding through their units here. And it's a good time all around, because this is the last of the Genoese army. So as we'll watch them go down there. There we go. And that means there will be no more threat against the Tuscan people from Genoa. Well, unfortunately, Finale just ended the war against Genoa without freeing Corsica, but you know what? Since it was an intervention, I'm not too upset. We can always attack separately to free Corsica at a later date. I'm just happy with the fact that we saved the now Italian city-state from going underneath the Genoese tyrant. The Medici Oriental Press is a printing house established by the Medici family. It has the objective of printing Christian works in Arabic, in the hopes of converting Muslims, and has been granted a monopoly by the Pope to print books in foreign languages. The press has published some of the earliest printed works in Arabic and has come to include multiple non-religious works. Scientific works in Arabic have been printed for circulation among European scientists, along with ancient Greek works that had only survived in its Arabic translation. Just do not tell the Pope. 20% of research progress is insane for 25 years. So we're definitely going to be catching up on pretty much every tech we need. I unlocked Pike and Shot in the meantime, because as much as I love our Florentine citizen militia, I do think we need to upgrade to Matchlock as soon as we can, because massed firing lines will be quite nice. And aside from that, I've also wanted to get the Carrick and the House of Parliament, just to get some extra crown power and some fleet power respectively. Or the other way around, I think I said those in the wrong order. Aside from that, we are married currently to the Castilian dynasty, the Piasts over in Poland, and we have one more daughter, so let's see who else we can get. I see England. Everard of Newqueburg is first in line. You know what? First in line for the front of England, we take those. All right, sounds good. So that means we're married to the houses in England, Castile, and Poland. I'm pretty happy with that, I think. Giovanni Bracciolini, commonly known as Poggio, is an Italian humanist and scholar. His accomplishments include being a prominent figure in the recovery and preservation of ancient Roman texts, particularly through his skills as a manuscript hunter and collector. Poggio's work as a scribe and librarian are set to play a vital role in reviving classical literature and ideas. His most significant achievement thus far is the discovery and subsequent copying of several lost works of ancient authors, including Cicero's letters and Quintilian's Institutio Oratoria. Poggio's efforts in rediscovering and disseminating these texts greatly contribute to the revival of classical learning and shall pave the way for humanism to flourish. We will improve our future by safeguarding our past, which really sucks because I just got the money to build a Grosseto into a city, and now I gotta throw it away for 10 invadedness. Or I lose prestige. Yeah, I do not want him to move to Naples. I'll take him. Okay, it is 1469, historically the actual birth year of Machiavelli himself, and I wish to go to war with Naples, but my allies are being rather annoying about it, so to speak. So I think what we'll do is we're going to try to sabotage Naples' diplomatic reputation. Is there any way I can actually sabotage their specific person? No, I can't. Okay. Well, in that case, we'll just sabotage reputation here. Where is it? South country. Okay. We want to get the Papal States to have a worse opinion of them. And then Milan, I think we want to isolate you from Genoa. Thank you. And now we'll see, how is this looking so far? Papal States still likes them too much, incredibly enough. Wow. And Milan also still likes them too much. So we're gonna have to do a little bit more character assassination on the Neapolis, that's the wrong nation. The Neapolitans. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know how the Papal States became the military hegemon. Diplomatic I can see, but how did you guys even get to... What happened here? Oh my god, they have 40,000 men. Okay, yeah, I'm glad I allied the Papal States. Jesus Christ. They hire mercenaries? Where did they get those 40,000 men from? Huh? What? Oh, they're allied with Poland too. God damn. I have no idea how that happened. Alright. Aside from that, we're still just waiting to declare war on two Sicilies. Milan will join us now, so we just need the Papal States to join us as well. Because if we could maybe get the Pope on our side, I would feel a lot better. I have about, what? Yeah, 20k if I add my levies, and we're just getting the upgraded tech now, though. We know that they have all of the military tech because they took Bacon Shot before us, whereas we went down Princeton Press. So it might be an idea to let's hold off until at least 74. I wanted to form Tuscany after this war to showcase our prestige. And then I was going to have us form it, you know, exactly 100 years before the actual duchy. But I think 74 will be a better formation year, or whenever the war ends after 74 when we start it. It'll give them 5 years to build up as well. But that also gives us 5 years to build up. And in 5 years, we can get all the tech we need, I think. Because we're just on Pike and Shot now. We get our Arquebusiers, we get the training fields, we get the whole gamut of upgrades. I think we'll be good to go. Leonardo da Vinci is an Italian painter, draftsman, sculptor, architect, and engineer whose genius, perhaps more than that of any other figure, shall epitomize the Renaissance humanist ideal. His works are among the most widely popular and influential paintings of the art world. His notebooks reveal a spirit of scientific inquiry and a mechanical inventiveness that are unprecedented in our time. A true Renaissance man. Oh, 15% research progress. That'll be huge, actually. That's half a technology right now. Yeah, get him in here, absolutely. I will absolutely loan up to pay it. Oh, I didn't have to loan up that much for a second. I'll loan up to pay that off. Let's worry about not spending so much on Diplo now. I don't think we're going to get the papacy to join us in the war against Naples, sadly. I'm still gonna try, though. We'll see how it goes, of course. Since it's possible that Sabotage Reputation with the Pope will work again in 5 years. I don't know, personally, but we'll see. We have until the 1st of March, of course. The time has come to execute Naples, or Two Sicilies now. They're in a different war with Austria at the moment, which involves England and a bunch of France, I think. So I think now is the best time out of any. It seems also that the Papal States changed their tune, because now they want to join us. Despite the fact that they have low manpower and all that, but so does Two Sicilies. So we will destroy our enemy. We will call in the entire squad. I'm probably going to handle... Papal States and I are going to handle Naples together, because, again, we have some of the largest armies in the world. Milan can probably tag team Austria, Provence, and Genoa on its own, but I'm going to split off some of my guys up there if we need to. And I think we'll go from there. Let's get into it, shall we? Alrighty, Northern Swiss Plateau. That's crazy. Alright, everyone's honored to join us. I don't think that Neapolitans have rebuilt their army. Oh, they have a little bit of it. Okay. Yeah, they were at like 49 professional troops for a while there, but either way, their professional armies are way smaller than ours. And despite having their levies raised before us, I think we'll be alright. So we probably want to get our... I don't know how the fleet's looking right now. 132 to 116. That's not bad, because most of theirs is transports, whereas most of mine is actual combat. So we'll raise our levies, and honestly, I think we have to take down Genoa and Provence first. I was gonna say, we do not have a lot of money in the bank for this war, but we should be okay. Mostly because we're still in debt from some shenanigans I got up to while building up taller. I was doing deficit spending, thinking this was Victoria free, and it's not Victoria free, for those of you wondering. Come on, we gotta get over there. We gotta save Milan. There we go. Nice, Genoa is out of the fight. Alright, let's get over here. Those are mostly levies. We can just use our professional troops against them. Let's make sure that army is balanced, please. In the meantime, let's go blockade Provence's capital. Oh, we found the navy, but hey, that navy was not important. Nice. Took it down. Got a transport out of the deal, too. Very nice. Alright, I see Genoa coming back over here. These guys are running from us. Lead you guys over in Rovigo, and then we're going to go back to Genoa and take out this army. Which, again, I do believe seems to be mostly levies. Get up here first. Are they going to assault the... Yeah, it's only 14, so they're probably going to take it back right away, unfortunately. Okay, what are you? You are a lot of professionals. And you are no professionals. And you're just bypassing them. Okay, fair enough. And then you are a coalition of levies, I think? Of course they have an insane commander. I think this battle will give us a big advantage, though. They are starting to run. So we're going to catch them with this army. And that army will hold until our levies can get in as reinforcements. There we go. Perfect. Right, let's see how this battle goes. Honestly, our forces are kind of decimating them. We have an insane amount of discipline on our troops, and the morale is still behind. I think we're just behind on tech is the biggest issue. We need to get ahead on tech. I noticed that we're getting the Lancers soon, which will be nice, because that means we can upgrade our units to what they need to be. There we go. Alright, now is this going to be a... Because they're not going to be able to walk from by 4, I don't think, so I think this might be a stack wipe. Let's cut off their retreat to the north. Hello. And then we come in from the south. Either way, we'll be attacking over a river, but we have the defender bonus, so that's fine. Get in there, please. I will say the war system is very nice in EU5. Combined arms actually working, and just in general having a good time with fighting. It's a very fun war system. All right, let's get you guys back here to recuperate some losses real quick. Or can I recuperate in allied territory? I actually don't know. I know I can't recuperate in occupied territory, that's for sure. All right, just 2 battles have already gained us back 10 war score. I'm pretty happy with that. The Austrians got lucky that we did not make it into Austria proper before the winter snow set in. And so we are forced to lay siege to Feistritz until we have access to Graz directly. The Di Pazzi banking family, bitter rivals of the Medici family, and the Duke have conspired to overthrow the Duchy's government and install themselves as rulers of Florence. Many of the most powerful figures in the Florentine politics are participants in this vile plot, ranging from merchants to clergymen to nobles. The Pazzi plan to assassinate Duke Pierpaolo de' Medici during High Mass at the Duomo, and then they captured the Palazzo della Signoria and seized the reins of government. Should the conspiracy fail, however, most of the political enemies of the Duchy would be branded as criminals, and the Duchy would therefore rule practically unopposed. Support the Pazzi coup. How good are you? Oh, you suck, dude. Get out of here. All right, we'll take the 20 stability hit, and Giacomo di Pazzi dies. Unfortunately, we have to take a 20 stab hit for that, but the war goes well. Genoa has mostly fallen here and is ready to quit out at any time. We are somehow losing on defended war score, despite the fact that I've stack wiped a good third of Naples' army because they kept just moving it onto over here. So I just kept stack wiping them. You can see from the amount of prisoners here how well it's going for us. In the meantime, we are about to get halberdiers, which I want to upgrade my men to, I think. We need 700 gold. I might loan out for that, honestly. It sucks because we already have a massive debt, but I think we're going to get a lot of money from Genoa when we force them to peace out here. It's just whether or not we can force them to peace out with Corsica or not. Don't think we're going to be able to. Alright, Alessandra is once again down. I don't like splitting my troops. Can I please just... Okay, I can peace out Genoa now. Thank you. Let's see what we got. Can I liberate? Not yet. Honestly, we'll just take money. We'll do a separate war against Genoa. So let's... We'll annul treaties with 2 Sicilies. And we'll take 412 ducats. That's fine. Most of that goes to Papal States for God knows why, despite the fact that they haven't really participated much at all. Put that morale tick back up, please. Finances reports. Just extend all of our loans for now. Let's go take Cessna or Cesena back. Cessna. I keep on reading that as Cessna, like the plane. There we go. That is another stack wipe on Naples. As you can see, they are starting to run out of men. All right, this war is winnable. We'll use the levies to siege up north while we continue our pursuit of the Neapolitans down south. Who are you? Oh, that was just straight up Austria. With no Austrian forces in there? Maybe a vassal? I don't know. Didn't like that I took that many losses to my levies, though. We're taking too many losses in this war. We've already lost about 5k men. But if we can make Naples bleed harder, then I'm happy. So how's their population looking? Okay, not too bad. That's mostly from when they gained Sicily. Get here, please get the Terracina. Take that fight. I don't care if it says we lose. I think we win this. There we go. Their levies fall like wheat before a sign. Nice thing is once we upgrade our guys, we'll have a lot more men in the unit at least. Let's go retake the Austrians. Inflation is what it is. Not much we can do about it. Guardia Republicana is actually missing out on food right now. That's not great. Let's prevent the Provencals from attacking us, please. Thank you. Go and seize their home port again. I see them running now. Oh, good, they're not running. They're gonna stay on the fort, hopefully. Alright, let's go take out Sanita. Just absolutely demolish. Oh, stack wipe too, nice. Alright, that gets them down to 30k. We now have an advantage at least. The majority of that is in Achaia, who can't get to us, which is okay. Austria has been bled dry. Seems like the majority of these people have been bled dry. Uri, why do you have 3k? Probably mercenaries, if I had to guess. And then all that's left is the 2 Sicilies herself, which we now rival. I'm so glad we went full quality this game, honestly. It's done wonders for us. Okay, this is the moment of truth time. Let's see where they go after this. Or are they just gonna stay in Borgia? Let's move back, see if we can get out of their fog of war scope. Because if we can take down, this is the last of the Neapolitan army. It's their professionals and their levy all in one versus my pure professional army. Come on, quick, go for it. Yes, okay, we catched them on the fort. Nice. And then they can only come back through here. Get in there. Nice. Did we get the defender? Ah, they got the defender. All right, let's see how it goes. They are low morale though. Very nice. I was hoping they'd go into the fort and then they couldn't leave, but you know what? It is what it is. We've completely caught them out in the open, and there they go. Now, where are you going? We'll arrive in Prato. You can't go to Prato. That's under control, no? Can they just retreat from my... Okay, right. Yeah, AI doesn't have to listen to the rules of the game. I always forget about that. Just a silly little deal. Alright, decline offer because I want to get more war participation. Okay, the Papal States got out of the war. That's annoying. I didn't realize they pieced out. I wish the game would alert me to that. Let's get Austria out of here. You know what? Austria with a white piece, I'm actually okay with that. I know in this game you can get it so like Napoleonic warfare just doesn't pay attention to any center control, which is pretty cool, I have to admit. That's a cool little unit mechanic. But I'm not gonna play until the Age of Revolutions. I'm sorry, I never do. Oh yes, we snuck in as the defender just before they got in there. Huge. These guys should be stack wiped since they came in on a navy and they're in a border control. There we go. And they have no way of getting out of here. Stack wipe them, please. Really? Okay, they managed to get out of here, I guess. Come on. There we go. Alright, that is a full Neapolitan stack wipe. They have no more infantry. I just want to try fighting their fleet, because I think that's majority transports there. Yeah. Let's just try fighting them. Let's see how this goes. Oh, we're easily sinking them here. Oh, no, okay, we're taking some losses. Oh, not great. We are not a naval country, keep in mind. I think we're going to win this battle, though, just based on morale from ship losses. Take the stab hit, get the money. Ooh, this is going to be close. Yeah, no, we got to pull off. We cannot risk that. It's unfortunate. It sucks. Oh, and we just lost our levies again. All right, just disband the levies. They're not useful. We'll finish the siege, then we'll go wipe out the rest of the Neapolitan army again. That'll give us a big amount of war score, and we should be good to go. Okay, we finally managed to get 10% war score so that we can piece out 2 Sicilies. Now, we do get plus 24, which is plus 23, so I am going to take as much money as we can, because I did use my previous money to upgrade Arezzo into a city, which means all of our provincial capitals are now cities, from Grosseto to Pisa to Lucca to Siena to Arezzo to Florence. Which is very fun. We're going to take everything we need from these guys. Now, we're the only ones left in the war, which means all of this money goes to us directly. We return territory to the Papal States, and I think we go from there. The Grand Duchy of Tuscany was formed in 1569 under the leadership of Cosimo de' Medici, Duke of Florence. An avid supporter of Pope Pius V, he was soon elevated to the title of Grand Duke of Tuscany, an unprecedented move which caused ripples for the rest of Europe. This would be the official formation of the Grand Duchy of Tuscany, and to return the favor, Cosimo joined the Holy League of 1571 and would join the conflict against the Ottomans at the Battle of Lepanto, which, fun fact, was the last major fleet action between Roman vessels. This was the most militaristic period of the duchy's history, as after the reign of Cosimo, Tuscany would return to its usual position as an imperial fief, oftentimes being used by the Medici dynasty as their own personal bank. This would go as far as Duke Ferdinando I in 1608 sent an expedition to Guyana in order to establish an Italian colony in modern-day French Guyana. Naples' border is fixed, our borders are fixed, the Papal States' borders are fixed except from up here, which we're going to ignore because Romagna is not a real place. And March is a march as intended. Alright, in the meantime, I think this victory deserves a triumph. Which means, I do believe it's time that we fully reorganize ourselves into the Grand Duchy of Tuscany. So we'll get Porto Franco, which I don't know what the trade efficiency. So I will say this is about 90 years earlier than it is historically, which I'm pretty happy with. To the point where actually, Machiavelli is only a 10-year-old right now. But let's form Tuscany. It now knows the Duchy of Tuscany around the world. Look how good that looks. I'm so happy with that. Oh, and that's a nice map color too. Not as bright as the red we had before, but it kind of blends in with our Italian brothers of like, you know, we're kind of an in-between between the Papal State white and the Milan purple. All right, we did it. So in the meantime, I don't need to improve with you anymore because I've already gave you that guarantee, right? I did remember to do that, yes. I hope I did. It's kind of important because I need them to stay as, yeah, okay, they are guaranteed by me, nice. I need them to be the market leader so that Florence stays as the #1 dominant market. Look how nice this looks. We're just absolutely dominating Genoa. Poland is now the largest market in the world, sadly. But goddamn if we're not close behind. Paper is our main industry right now, a lot of cloth, so I do want to invest in that as heavily as possible and then get into books as well. But right now, Finns are looking good for the Duchy of Tuscany. There's really not much more to do past this. We've kind of already accomplished our goals. Alright, we had the Banca Monte dei Paschi. Mounts of Piety, or Monte di Pieta, are becoming increasingly common in our country and around us. They are charitable institutions using funds from donors to allow less fortunate people access to low-interest loans. Funding one of such organizations in Siena will serve to increase the wealth and general prosperity of our duchy and serve as our national bank. Yeah, sure, we can do that. Another bank? I'm okay with that. Oh, we get a bank. Which, surprisingly enough, we didn't unlock with banking. That's pretty good. Tax-based to owner 5%. That's huge. Oh my god. Abso-fucking-lutely give me that. Yeah, we'll have another bank. Why not? We'll keep Medici as our state bank, of course, but another bank never hurts. Now, from here on out, the gameplay to 1527 was remarkably boring, with all of our goals accomplished and not much left to do within our principality. So I've made the decision to cut this challenge off early and claim it as complete. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you did, then please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay tuned as I have a really large run planned for the future where we actually play until the end of the game, as well as a few other games lined up to teach more specific aspects of history and archaeology that I feel Paradox games can't quite cover as effectively as I would like. Have a wonderful day, and bye-bye.